Hey guys, Naveen here.
This is Cheney. We have a show coming up with our band ENTHEOS next month on October 5th. It's a Saturday in Denver, Colorado. We are headlining Thank You Fest 4 at the Brutal Poodle. We also have an EP coming out October 25th. It's called An End to Everything. It's out on Metal Blade Records, and you can pre-order it now at metalblade.com/ENTHEOS. If you would like to buy ENTHEOS merch, then you can do that at www.entheosstore.com. And of course, if you would like to buy KoperCrabb Podcast merch, you can get that at KoperCrabb.bigcartel.com. Thanks, you guys.
Let's get into this podcast. This is the KoperCrabb Podcast.
I'm Cheney Crab.
I am Naveen Copperweiss, coming at you live from KoperCrabb HC.
That's right. Wait, what's
no,
HC?
Sorry, HQ.
There we go. I was like going with it. Like, what's it? Yeah, HC. So what we didn't talk about at the beginning is that the KoperCrabb hotline is back in action.
Hell yeah, it is.
So if you guys want to leave us a voicemail with a question, a comment, a band you're into, whatever you want to say, we don't care. Just call into the hotline. It's 615-863-4552. We'll play it on the podcast. And you can also send a text message if you're on the shy side. Just shoot us a text and we will read it on the podcast.
That's right. We are trying to expand the community, right? Make it a little more of a two-way street.
Yeah, we want it to be interactive. That I think is going back to like why we started the podcast in the first place.
Yep.
It's really just to hang out and talk to all of you guys. And for a while, it was like a one-way street. We weren't really hearing from people who are listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
But we want to hear from you guys.
There you go.
That's what it's all about.
That is what it's about.
We had the hotline for a while. I think we shut it down to send people to Discord, but
fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. Just call into the hotline.
Yeah, call in or text. We're bringing back the email.
Yeah,
Going
email
old
us.
school.
Yeah, email us. KoperCrabbPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, or Discord, whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I guess Cheney and I have been talking, and the point of the podcast was to create a little community, which I feel like we did. And so let's just keep it going. Send us the comments, the questions, whatever.
Yeah, we want to
We'll
hear
do our
from you
best
guys.
to answer.
That's right.
And try to give you guys our best take on what's going on in the underground music scene.
Yeah, or anything else. Just know that we are not professionals. So yeah.
Don't do this before consulting with your doctor.
Your metal doctor.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been a fun week. The last week we've been like, I don't know, what have we been doing? Like working on guest stuff.
Yeah, we've been doing guest vocals.
And getting ready for a show that we're playing next month, which is going to be hella fun. We talked about it at the beginning of the podcast, but we're going to Denver, and we're talking this morning about how we kind of glazed over the tour that we did this summer, and we wanted to talk a little more about like cities that we played.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, of course, the first show of the tour was in Santa Cruz, which is where our band started. It was interesting going back this time and playing the show, because it was like, I don't know if you felt like this, Naveen, but it was like at the show, less people knew about us than knew about us at Archspire. Like it was a whole different crowd, I think.
In Santa Cruz?
Yeah, in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, I would say so too. And I would also say that a lot of people who knew me personally came to the Archspire show.
Yeah.
And a lot of them didn't come to the As Lay Dying show, which was unfortunate because the Santa Cruz show on the Archspire tour sucked.
Yeah, you always talk about it as being like the worst show of your entire life.
It was one of the worst days of my life.
Why was it? I know why, but...
Yeah. So it was the guys who were working there, the quote-unquote sound guys, what a joke. Just an abomination.
Yeah, well, we made the mistake on Tech Trek. We started the tour off with no sound engineer.
What were we thinking?
I have no idea.
What on earth were we thinking?
That was the last time, literally that Santa Cruz show, or maybe it was a couple of shows later. It was the last time that we ever went without hiring an engineer.
It was insanity.
I can't believe we did that, because here's the thing. You can play, like, dude, if you're playing a venue, you can play your heart out. You can have the best set of your entire life. But if the front of house person is not sick, then it's not going to translate in the way that
no one's going to hear
imagining it.
Your awesome performance.
Yeah.
It's not going to matter.
And I mean, that's not to say there are amazing house sound guys, like, or sound women, whatever, sound engineers. Portland, I remember the first day of Tech Trek with Archspire in Portland, or it was our first day because we had to miss the actual first day.
Yeah, he was great.
He was insane.
Yeah, he was great. And he was like, let's do a sound check, which typically we don't sound check if you're in the middle of the lineup.
Oh, right, because we were direct support on that, yeah.
And we did the sound check. It sounded great. Mm-hmm. So we were like, hey, maybe this isn't going to be so bad. Maybe sound guys are just going to know what's up. The next day is Santa Cruz, my hometown. I swear everybody who I've ever known in my life showed up.
That's
true. I mean, people that I've never seen at a show in my fucking life. Yeah. I'm not even kidding or exaggerating. Like, everyone rolled out. It was insane.
I wonder if that was because it was like right after the pandemic and everyone was trying to go out and I mean, I don't know why it happened, but yeah, it was every single person that you knew.
Everyone was there.
Totally.
And yeah, I just had this feel like right when we were setting up our stuff and I was kind of telling the house guys like what we needed, you know, and they were like, oh shit, you know, acting really confused by it. I was like, this is going to be fucked. And then we play, obviously it's screwed. Well, I mean, my mom said that it sounded bad. You know what I mean? That's not good.
That really is not good.
Like, she said all you could hear, she said she couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And then apparently all you could hear was the kick drum, and like there was no tracks. Our bass is on a track, so there was no bass.
I don't think anyone could hear vocals.
Yeah, I think all you could hear was kick. And then my brother said he looked over to the soundboard, and the guy was back there just smoking weed. Like,
oh my God.
Dude, I was so mad. And then, so we played, I knew that it sucked.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, even when you're in a band and you play and you're behind the PA, and we don't even have anything on stage because we play with like in-ear rig, so there's no monitors on stage. I can still just feel the PA if it's like on or not.
Yeah.
You know, like how like Beethoven wrote music. You can just feel it out. So I could just feel that it sucked. You know, I knew that it was off. And I was looking out, I could see my dad. He was like, yeah, you know, trying to be into it, supportive.
I love that you can feel when it's off, because no joke, I had no idea, and I felt like I just fucking rocked it that night. I was like, yeah, dude, this is like Kiss in the 70s.
Yeah.
Just murdering.
Yeah. Well, Chase, my friend who I grew up with, Chase, he was like, he was like, yeah, it sounded kind of shitty, but it didn't really matter. It was still like a good show.
Yeah.
And
it was a great show.
So I was like, okay, whatever, that's cool. And then, I mean, I think most people maybe they didn't notice. Like,
I don't know.
Friends from childhood.
I don't really know.
And then after the set, though, I was just like, I was in the back just hiding. Like, I just literally didn't want to see anybody. And I don't get like that.
No, you
I'm not
don't.
like a perfectionist guy anymore. Like, I literally, it's like, if it's pretty good, acceptable, I'm happy. I don't need it to be the best freaking thing of all time.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's... You like it to sound really good, but I wouldn't call you a perfectionist. It's just that it is frustrating if you know that it didn't sound like it's frustrating. Yeah. It's frustrating to like put your heart into this thing and have an idea of what you think it's sounding like live.
Yeah.
And you know that some of these people, like, it's like the only time they'll ever see you live, it's their first time seeing you live, or, you know, there are a bunch of circumstances surrounding it, and you just want it to sound the way that you envision it sounding.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's just say we were playing and one of the speakers was like cutting in and out. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be like, what the fuck? You know, I wouldn't be mad about that.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, oh, one of the speakers is cutting in and out. Okay, whatever. Like one time we played in, on the same tour, we played in Houston. And Brian forgot to turn the guitar cabs on.
Yeah.
So we played with the guitar cabs off, but it was coming out of the PA.
Of course, when Travis was at the show, when our old guitar player was there, just staring at what was going on. He's like,
so, I mean, I didn't like go hide in the bathroom after that. I was just like, oh, the caps are off. Okay,
Yeah,
whatever. It didn't sound as good as it could have. Okay,
Right.
so what? Or if I make a couple mistakes, whatever. But just the whole set being completely sabotaged because someone won't do their job.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy got paid that night. They paid him to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insanity. That is seriously insane.
It does suck. And that's why it's when you find a good sound engineer, when you find a good front of house person, keep that.
Yeah, get him.
Keep that person around. And Sean, so going to the Santa Cruz show that we played over the summer with As I Lay Dying.
Yeah, no, opposite effect.
So our friend Sean Martinez was our front of house guy on this tour. He's the bass player of Decrepit Birth. And he just absolutely fucking killed it. And with Sean from day one of practice, just the way you can kind of tell, like, by a person's work ethic, how it's going to like work out. And on day one, he was like dialing in
at practice.
Yeah, he was dialing in the rig. He was like doing it all through headphones.
Yeah, he had his shit set up in our living room and ran all the cables into the studio.
Yeah.
And was just back there like, yeah, I'm just getting things dialed in, you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly,
that's what I'm talking about.
The sound engineer is kind of the most important person at a show.
I know. It's like kick a guy out of your band to get a sound guy. That's not even a joke.
No, I mean,
that's like what we do, kind of.
If a band asked me for advice on like what to do on their first tour, I would say find someone who will do sound for you.
Yeah, maybe get a homie.
Find someone else on the tour, like someone who's just trying to be. Yeah. They don't even have to be a professional, just someone who is interested and eager to learn about it, because it will change the game for you.
Just having someone who cares is better than having someone who cares who isn't technically as good versus someone who is really good technically but does not care.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a world of difference. The guy who cares is going to win every time. It makes a world of difference. And, you know, all of that cool stuff that you hear in a live setting, all of the ear candy delays and cool shit, like when a solo pops up and it's loud, or how good the drums sound. This is all very dependent on, of course, it has to do with how you tune your drums and the tones of the guitars and all of those other things. But that only goes so far. It does only go so far. It only goes so far. You can have the best, most dialed in fucking tone of all time on your Axe effects, whatever, Kemper, whatever you use. Oh, yeah. Have this be the sickest, like, hands and all of that. But if your sound guy has you super low, no one's going to know. You know, it just doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, Meshuggah could come through and this guy from Santa Cruz would just have him sounding horrible. Gojira could come through and this guy would just wreck it, just sabotage it. So all hi-hat. So we were like just pulling up to the Catalyst this time because we played a few shows on the way out. Pulling up to the Catalyst first day of tour. Yeah. We just knew we were in good hands and that felt amazing. And that was another reason why we wanted to do those shows on our own on the way out to the tour. Yeah. Was because last time Santa Cruz went so poorly and it was the first day of the tour. Yeah. So it's like, we can't show up to this tour blowing it. Yeah. You know, we have to, like, this is a big tour. Yeah. And the other bands are extremely professional and sound great. Mm-hmm. We need to do that. Yeah. So we knew rolling into Santa Cruz, that was going to be great. Luckily it went awesome. It was really fun. But none of my childhood friends showed up. So like they all just saw the shitty show and that's probably they didn't show up because that show sounded so bad. They're probably not going to come again for 20 years. Definitely not. Until we're all old. No, they're not coming again. No, you know, we might not even be playing music the next time they're willing to come to another show. So this time in Santa Cruz, of course, Santa Cruz is like a special place to us. Like I said earlier, it's where our band started. We lived there for a really long time. Yep. The Catalyst is a place that we went and saw shows. Even though every childhood friend of Naveen's wasn't there, there were still a bunch of friends of ours there. Family. Yep. So it was cool to get to party with everyone, to see Chelsea Grin and As I Lay Dying for the first time, to just meet everyone. And it was overall a really good first day of tour. It was great. I don't even think I did anything before the show that day. I can't remember what happened. We went to that outdoor spot downtown with my mom. Abbott Square. Abbott Square is one of our old haunts. Yeah. You know what I realized when we got
back home from tour is that I didn't go see the ocean.
Yeah. I guess that's...
Didn't even go check it out.
That's a testament to how quick the day is on tour. Like, it's hard to... You're a mile away from the ocean, if that, and it's hard to even think of doing that. It's hard to get out of like a, half a mile radius around the venue.
It wasn't even until I got home that I was like, oh shit, I was in Santa Cruz and I didn't check out the ocean.
Did we see the ocean at all?
Stupid.
Oh, you know where we... Shannon and I went in Florida and we saw the ocean, and then in that place where you got lunch with us.
Yeah.
I can't remember where that was.
Here, I got the dates right here. It was somewhere in... Was that Norfolk, Virginia?
Norfolk, Virginia. What a fun place to play.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a cool little downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
And the venue was really sick.
Yeah,
what was the name of it?
The Norva.
Oh, the Norva, yeah.
That was really a good thing.
In the Norva. So here's the thing about that Norva venue. I don't even know if you knew this. They have a basketball court in it. And Tim was telling me about how he played basketball the last time he was there. And I was joking around and was like, all that they need here is a sauna, and it would be the best venue of all time. And he was like, dude, there is a sauna.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the person who worked there was telling me about it. It used to be a gym. It was a really old school gym. Mm-hmm. And that's why it has... And then it was... No. I got it wrong. It was a theater.
Oh, okay.
And then someone bought it and turned it into a gym, like in the 80s or something like that.
Oh, damn.
And then it got turned into a venue. And so some of that gym stuff is still there.
Which is super cool. If anyone out there is trying to build a venue, put a fucking gym in it.
I know.
That's so cool. Maybe a hot tub, a sauna, and then like...
Wait, wasn't someone asking us on the podcast about what to do with a venue?
Totally.
Yeah.
They were. All right, let's come up with our perfect venue right now.
It's gotta have a gym, laundry.
Gym, tan, laundry.
Yeah.
Let's go GTL, full GTL. Well, Alex was saying before before we started the podcast in the pre-show that he saw his first shower in a green room, which is always a plus for musicians.
Yeah.
Extra points if it's clean with bleach. Then we really like it. Mm-hmm. So a shower in the green room. I would say a couple of showers. A couple of showers, like not just a shower in the main green room. Have a few green rooms back there because most of the time on a tour package, there's going to be more than one band. Yeah. So a couple of green rooms, showers in every green room.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say, well, it just depends on how big we're making this imaginary venue.
Sky's
the limit.
We have squillions of dollars to make the venue.
Okay, well, if you have squillions of dollars, then we're, probably 3.
For a mid-sized venue.
Okay, mid-sized venue, we could do... I would say, realistically, you have a shower in the headlining bands backstage, and then you have a green room with a shower. And, so everybody, the openers could use that.
One green room with one shower?
No, have like a common...
Oh, like a hallway shower? Kind of like a
Masquerade?
Europe
type situation where there's like a bathroom that has like 3 showers in it.
Oh, yeah.
Just do that, a gym style situation.
That is pretty sick.
Men and women's, and then do...
Or like the Masquerade is kind of like that, actually. You know that room that's behind, I think it's Hell. So there's that little shower room that's behind Hell, and there are 2 showers in there and towels and a huge mirror.
That's it. That's perfect, honestly.
That's
kind of honestly better than having it up in the little green room, because then you got like people showering and throwing dirty towels everywhere, and the green rooms are going to be small.
Well, what I will say is that when there is a shower in our green room, I act like it's my bathroom.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like...
We noticed.
Everyone notices. We could avoid that by having it just be in the hallway, because then I'm a little more respectful. But if it's just at what's the place in LA that we played?
Starts
with a
got
B.
this.
Starts
the
with
Belasco.
The Belasco. So in the Belasco, there are, I think, 3 green rooms, and each of them have a shower. And I was just treating our shower like all of my shit was everywhere.
Yep.
So yeah.
That was a really nice backstage.
It was really nice.
Extremely nice.
There's an extra thing you can do: throw in some flip flops and a little robe.
Yeah.
For everyone.
That is something that we noticed on this tour. Some of the venues would have like gift bags,
Yeah, they had that at Irving Plaza. So Irving Plaza has like a weed gift bag.
Actually,
thing.
the Irving Plaza pen that they gave us is on the shelf.
Yeah, so the gift bag came with a pen. It came with an ashtray, a rolling tray, a bunch of joint papers, a lighter.
Slides.
Well, you get those in the bathroom.
Okay.
So
Rock
nice.
hard slides, by the way. Those things are...
Yeah, they hurt.
Those things are brutal. They're like those freaking Dutch clogs that are made of wood.
Dude, they are so hard.
I put them on before and I was like, whoa, these things are painful.
Zero arch support in those things.
Yeah.
But
cool
hey,
nonetheless.
it's the thought that counts,
cool
right?
Nonetheless.
But I will say I've been using those joint papers for the last 2 months, so.
Still going,
And
huh?
the rolling tray.
Oh, yeah, and they gave us a sick rolling tray.
Yes.
Very cool.
Just yesterday, though, the lighter ran out of fluid.
Let's put it on the shelf.
We will.
Yeah.
It'll become a memento.
So I think that's something that you should have at your venue, some memorabilia.
Yeah, man.
We're spending a lot of money at these venues.
Little memorabilia.
I think it's great.
Yeah, so Santa Cruz show. I don't know if I have anything else to say about it.
Yeah, I think the show itself
set
was
was
great.
great.
It had a really good vibe in there.
Yeah, it was fun.
I think that was the first day of the tour, so we were like, this tour's gonna be insane.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much how I felt right
Me
off the
too.
bat. It's like, all right, we're in it.
Yeah, dude. Me too. I didn't really get a chance to watch any of the bands that night. We just kind of, honestly, we kind of partied with your family that night because we played in Sacramento the next night. So it was a really short drive, which kind of doesn't happen to us very often in California. So we just embraced the moment, hung out with our family.
I was DD. I didn't party.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, it was DD. And then I made up for it the next night, though. That was my bad night.
Oh, God. The next night was so fun. I can't remember. First of all, that venue rules. What's it called? Ace of Spades in Sacramento.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Love playing that venue, not just because I enjoy the venue. It's also because it's surrounded by a lot of like cool restaurants and coffee spots. So we went and got coffee that morning. I remember that. At a really good spot down the street, and then went into the venue. You know, it was a normal day. We just like loaded in and stuff. And I went to the restaurant across the street, which I can't remember the name of, and just kind of like played the show. The show was fucking great. And after the show, there's like a cool cocktail bar right across the street. And
They
our
got me.
friend, yeah,
They got me in there.
dude, I think they got all of us. We were drinking espresso martinis that night.
Yeah.
And hanging out with some of our friends. And
Yeah. Some of my old friends were at that show as well. And they were wanting to drink at this place.
yeah.
And I got way too drunk. It sucked.
Which this is actually, I think, a good time to bring up. So, like I said earlier, we like reopened the KoperCrabb hotline. And someone actually wrote in about hoods. So now
Oh, really?
Yeah, now that we're talking about Sacramento.
Okay. Yeah, these were some of the people that I met during that era who I'm still in contact with, still great friends with.
Yeah, totally. So that was a really good night.
And they rolled out to the show, and it was a shit show. It was really bad. I actually threw up on this shirt.
That was that night?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It was
Oh
horrible.
my God.
It sucked.
Holy crap. Okay, so
Yeah, it was really shitty.
we went to a cocktail bar and
Really shitty.
kind of all the bands were hanging out there, people from
Yeah.
all of the bands. And we were just talking and, you know, getting the brotherhood and sisterhood of tour going. And I guess that we got really drunk and you puked all over. We had like a mattress.
I puked in the van.
Yeah, we had a mattress.
It was so whack. Dude, yeah. So my friends buying me drinks, hanging out. It was fun. I was having a great time, obviously.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
And then here's where things go bad. If you see me doing a shot, that's it. I'm done at that point. So I do remember doing a shot, and then I remember like waking up in the van, and I'm like, oh no, I'm like throwing up in the van on the bunk. This is embarrassing too, by the way. I'm not like proud of this.
This
but
also, I will say this rarely happens.
yeah, this is like
this never.
Harrison, have you ever even seen me do that?
No.
Okay.
I would say
so-
maybe 3 times in our entire
Yeah,
relationship.
like this is not a common occurrence.
Mm-mm.
It just got away from me. I was feeling it too much. So I throw up on the bunk, Or no, I think I might have done my classic throw up into your shirt. That's like if I need to throw up, I can I'll just go like that if I can't.
Yeah, it started there for sure.
So yeah, and then I threw up on the bunk, and then you were trying to get me to leave the van to go into the hotel.
Really bad.
And
really
I was
hard.
like, no, leave me. Like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
And then I just slept in the van, I think, right?
You slept in the van, but we had like a really nice mattress in the back of the van.
Yeah. I bought that mattress when I was redoing the van. The Coco Bolo days.
Yes.
For any old school golden lobsters.
And you puked all over it and all over all of our blankets. And so I
just took it all out and just threw it out, just chucked it.
Yeah. It was all gone. We had to get rid of it the next day.
I had to get rid of it all. And then this shirt, dude, smelled like puke until yesterday.
What?
Yeah, like every time I would wash it, I'd put it on and I'd be like, oh, it still kind of smells like puke.
Wow,
and so I just keep washing it every time I do laundry. And then yesterday I did laundry and it smells great.
Wow, so we had that. I mean, there were a lot of smells going on that tour. We had that, and then do you remember how Shannon's tuna? For some reason, Shannon was carrying her tuna in her backpack where she also keeps her clothes and everything else. I don't know why the fuck she was doing that, but she manhandled the bag or something, and the tuna packet, it was one of those like foil tuna packets that you open.
Why was it open?
The tuna packet opened inside of her bag. Yeah,
she apparently got tuna all over her stuff. And yeah, that smelled so bad. It was one made me want to puke. It was disgusting.
What a nightmare. I mean, there's nothing that's more horrific on tour than all of your shit just getting destroyed. I don't even like when I have to take my backpack into a venue where they still allow smoking or into a place where they still allow smoking. That's horrible. But imagine getting tuna or puke all over all of your shit.
God, that's so stupid, man.
Yeah, so we had the next morning when we woke up, we had an off day after the Sacramento show. Yep, it's all coming back to me.
So luckily, I didn't have to load or do anything the next day. I was just hungover and like one of my classic crying hangovers.
Well, that's when it'll get to you is like a band Friday. That night you'll get really drunk. Yeah. Not you, but one will get really drunk because you have an off day the next day, and you knew you weren't gonna have to drive. You drove in Santa Cruz.
Exactly. See, it's the perfect storm.
Yeah.
I did my driving. I'm good for a while there.
I did my time.
Oh, there's no show tomorrow. Yeah. My friends are here. Let's fucking party.
It's fucking time to party.
So I did that and I paid for it dearly the next day.
You did.
And that night it was horrible. And then we got Denny's. I don't know if I was able to eat or not.
I think it was you tried really hard. You ordered something for sure, but we got Denny's the next day.
Yeah.
And
I think I ordered it and then just went to the van, went to sleep.
And then because we had to take the mattress out that night, or maybe we so luckily we had a foam that our dear friend David Bronsky gave us when we were shooting a music video. He's like, take this foam.
So he gave me that memory foam.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, let's put this. We already had mats down in the downstairs bunk. I'm like, let's put this foam down there, like extra padding. But the thing is, it made it so tall that it was like, there was only like that much room up, like in between the bunk and the floor. Yeah. So it was weird with the foam.
Yeah.
So we just took the foam and put that upstairs.
Which always like the foam. So the way our van is set up, it's hard to explain, but there are two benches and then there's a bed. But there's a little gap in between the second bench and the bed so that people can climb to under the bed. Yeah, it's probably
like a foot.
Yeah,
probably like a foot.
I would say 2. Like a foot's only. So it's about
18 inches.
Yeah, so you can climb in through that little opening. Yeah. And we already have rather large, tall men like Michael Stansel and Andrew Viretta who are like 6'2". Right. Both of them climbing down through that hole. So the foam didn't perfectly fit on the bed.
Yeah, it's way too big.
So we only had to sleep in the van because we only had one overnight drive. So we only slept in the van, but everyone falls asleep under the bunk, you know. We only slept in the van one time, but anyway, I would be like asleep on the bunk on the way to a show, and Andrew would be down here and he'd have to pop up like that through the foam. So it'd scare the fuck out of me because I didn't see him coming every day. But
the main issue was that the gap served as airflow for the AC.
Oh, right.
But then the two big mattress would cover it up and they'd be getting cooked down there.
Yeah, dude. So I don't know how they slept down there, but
that sucked. That was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was uncomfortable on that tour.
Sleeping in a van, not the most bomb thing of all time.
It was just the weather.
Right.
I can sleep in a van, no fucking problem. It's just, man, during the summer, Harrison knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, poor Harrison. He drove for us in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
Well, it was like at the beginning of the summer, but when you drive, you're driving all night, and he wanted to sleep during the day, and there's no place to escape the heat. So luckily, our dear friends in Archspire let Harrison sleep in the bandwagon on that tour.
That was nice.
Yeah, so Sacramento, huh?
So hey, should we do that? Should we leave it there?
Yeah, let's
for
do
venue
that question.
recap.
Yeah, that's our venue recap.
Yeah, venue recap segment completed.
We're doing segments now.
Yeah, we're trying to structure things here.
Yeah, we're trying to structure it a little bit after 6 years of doing this, or however long it's been. All right, I want to read this question because I think it applies kind of.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hello, Naveen and Cheney. My name is Tony, and I'm a fan of the pod, obviously, and ENTHEOS first. That's right.
Very cool.
I first saw ENTHEOS on the 10 Years of Defilement tour with Chapel Rings and Karn. This is hilarious the way he wrote this. Chap Rings and Karn.
Okay.
So for those of you out there, it's Whitechapel Rings of Saturn Carnifex.
No, I like Karn.
Karn. I play drums in a blackened death slam band, in parentheses, LOL. AKA Death Rock, in parentheses, haha.
All right, this is a good question.
Called Unvow. That's a sick name. We're opening for Naveen's old band Hoods at the Foundry in Lakewood, Ohio. Great venue.
Cool.
Great
very
venue.
Cool.
Naveen, can you talk a little more about your time in the hardcore scene and Hood's history? I love your drum vids.
Yeah. So I was part of the hardcore scene when I was younger. How far do we want to go back with this? I'm just going to go back.
Where did it all begin?
So I was into metal. I liked Sepultura, stuff like that. And then my dad ran a company that made vegan meat, vegan pepperoni or whatever, which was way more rare then than it is now. This was when I was probably 14, 13.
Called Veggie Deli.
Yeah,
right?
Veggie Deli. I wonder if that exists on the internet.
How do you spell it?
VEGI -deli. Is there anything about that online? Logos?
There's a place called Vegan Deli.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that doesn't exist online. Wow, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, wow. We should actually look for that harder than when we're...
Wow, that's great. I guess
on
some things are not online.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
one of them.
interested to know about it.
Anyway, yeah, so that was my dad. His friends started that company, and they asked my dad to run it. I guess they thought he'd be good at doing that. He had no prior experience in the food business.
He would be really good at doing that.
Yeah, he's a good salesman, good guy.
Totally.
Anyway, so they had people work in the factory. They made it in San Francisco. And at the time, it was the late 90s, hardcore, veganism was big. And so hardcore dudes worked in the factory. And then my brother and I would work there over the summer, work, quote unquote. We'd just screw around, get in everyone's way.
Well, what was your job?
I would just do whatever my dad told me to, you need to form boxes.
Oh yeah, okay.
Or move all this stuff from here to over there. Just something that a kid could do, basically. Or we would label the pepperonis.
Oh yeah, wow.
Use the labeler and label them and put them in a box and tape it. So it's kind of fun, actually.
I bet.
And so, yeah, there was a bunch of hardcore dudes who worked there. And they would play hardcore music. And they introduced me to that whole scene. And then one of them, his name is Don, he was in a hardcore band that was local. And they really helped kind of form the Bay Area hardcore scene, starting Gilman and all that stuff.
What was the name of his band?
Second Coming.
I feel like I've heard you guys talk
Yeah.
about that band before.
Yeah. So
Is it like a Krishna band? Second Coming.
No, they weren't. They were sort of. They weren't particularly a Krishna band, but they were sort of, that was like a thing at the time. So they might have wore the beads or something like that. But Don got into being Hare Krishna and still is.
Okay. Wow.
So we went, he knew that I played drums and that my brother and I were into music and stuff. There was actually a drum set at the building, at the warehouse. So I would like play it sometimes at lunch.
Oh, that's sick.
Because like I said, like a lot of the guys were hardcore. Like the one of the guys who didn't even work in the factory, he was like, I don't know what he did, a manager or something. He was a hardcore dude and played drums, and that was his drum set that was there. So yeah, that's how I got. And then I went and saw Don's band play, and then he just started bringing me and my brother to shows, and yeah, like it was the early 2000s, late 90s, and we went to like a lot of the local hardcore shows and saw like insane bands. There was like a local band called Sworn Vengeance that was like, I saw them at Gilman. And actually Leo's brother had a band from Animosity before he was in a band. And they opened the show.
That's Leo. Leo, the vocalist of Animosity, his brother Nate.
Yeah,
had a band.
He had a band way before Animosity. And so I remember seeing Leo there. And
what was the name of Nate's band?
Inner Struggle. Cool name.
Yeah, that is a cool name.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
Animosity is a cool name too.
Yeah, it is. And my brother and I saw Leo there. And I just remember seeing him. And I had actually met Leo because my dad and his dad worked in the same building. And so like I had just met him a couple times. Just like, oh, this is my kid, the guy who works in my building's son. This is
separate from Veggie Deli, like
before Veggie Deli. So my dad worked for the same guys who created Veggie Deli at this other building. Mm-hmm. And my dad had an office there, and they had a printing company. And so my dad worked there at this printing company. And Leo's dad had an architect thing there. I think his office is still there.
Wow.
And we used to, and ironically, so I used to play in this building when I was a kid. And then Animosity actually started jamming in that building because Leo's mom, like once the printing press left, she took over on the other side of the building, and we would practice there.
I feel like there was also...
And totally unrelated. It was just like insane.
There's also another full circle that has happened at that building since then,
okay,
right?
Full circle. Mm-hmm. My brother, my sister's boyfriend, who is now her husband, moved from New Jersey to be with her to the Bay Area. He's an electrician. He gets his first job at the lighting place underneath where the printing company was.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, it's like so crazy.
Totally bizarre.
So like this building, anyway.
Where is that spot at?
It's
Excuse me.
It's in Soma. It's near where that dance club was that we went to a couple times.
Oh yeah, what's the name of that place?
1015 Folsom.
1015 Folsom.
It's on Folsom.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I would go with this guy Don who worked for my dad. He would take us to shows, and it was really fun. I got to see all these like insane bands, and I knew that it was like really underground, you know, and I thought like it was so cool. And so yeah, I was just like in the hardcore scene, and that's how I just started seeing Leo around more, and that's how I joined Animosity. I actually went to a show that they played, but I missed them. They were a band before I was in the band. And then
who was the drummer before you?
It was just like some kid from their high school.
You don't remember his name?
His name was Lucas. I don't know his last name.
I wonder if he still plays drums.
I don't think so. I think he was crushed. No, I'm just kidding. He wasn't really that into it.
Well, so was he? What's the first thing you guys put out? I can't remember.
Hellraiser demo.
Was he on that?
No, they had stuff before that.
Oh wow.
They had a demo before that.
That no one knows about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no one knows about it. I had it because Leo gave it to me. Like I said, I went to a show that they played, and I was like, okay, I know this kid. Like I just knew him from around the way. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, we just played. And I was like, oh, should I miss you guys? He gave me their CD, And then I went home and listened to it, and I was like super jealous because it was like way better than my band that I was in at the time. Like they were pretty good. Like they had riffs and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it was still Frank and Nick on guitar.
Frank has just had riffs since he came out of the womb.
Yeah. So it was like, it was pretty good at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, they tried me out and then kicked out their drummer because I was way better. And then so Animosity would play shows everywhere, and then that's how I met Hoods. So Mike from Hoods had his own venue, and it was in Sacramento, really close to where Ace of Spades is.
Oh, really?
Like we passed it on the way that you pass it on the way there.
Whoa,
Like
you've
when you
never
get off the
showed me
highway,
it.
I pointed it out. I was like, that was Mike's building right there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never. I think if you're telling me it's the building, I never connected the dots that was where his venue
the building.
was.
That's like what we called it.
What was the name of his
West
venue?
Coast Worldwide.
Yeah, West Coast Worldwide. There are a bunch of videos on YouTube that are from West Coast Worldwide.
It was great. It was great. I mean, it's obviously nostalgic to me, but
So the venue does not exist anymore?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, the building is actually there, but I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento and the Bay Area, like we played shows together a lot. Like it was kind of considered local still, even though it was an hour and a half away. So we would play with Hoods at West Coast Worldwide. And like we even headlined there one time when we were super young. Like the first shows we played was there. And then Hoods.
The first show you ever played was was
not the first show, but like the first couple shows I played with Animosity.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was at West Coast Worldwide.
So what was the first show you ever played with Animosity?
We played in a park.
The one that's on the internet?
No, not that one.
Oh, I was like, wait, no, because Evan is in that video.
Yeah. No, this was like we just played some park with like local high school bands. Like one of them played like Weezer songs.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then we get up there and you know who was there? That guy Benny, Leo's friend.
Oh yeah.
He was there.
Wow.
At that show. Yeah, I remember meeting him that day.
Crazy.
So yeah, so that's how I met Mike and Hoods and everybody. And it's not like we were great. Like I was like a little kid, you know, and they were like adult, like scary guys with tattoos and stuff. You know, so I was like scared of them. You know, I wasn't like good friends with them. I was just cool with them. And then they did a tour and their drummer quit. And they came to a show that we did, the Candiria show.
Oh wow.
Animosity opened for Candiria. And Hoods came to the show because they were friends with Candiria and us. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to Mike, and he was like, yeah, our drummer quit, and we're supposed to play Hellfest. There was this fest in America called Hellfest back in the day, a hardcore thing. And I was like, fuck, dude. Like, my band at the time was Animosity. They were in high school still. You know, like I got out of high school early because I just wanted to play drums. They're still in high school. They can't tour. And I'm like, fuck, I want to go. I want to do that. You know, so I'm like, I'll do it. Take me, you know. I'll go play Hellfest with you guys. That'd be sick.
Do you think there are videos? Because Hellfest, like, I remember the Hellfest DVD. Do you remember? Or
yeah, of course.
So you think there are videos up of you playing Hellfest?
I didn't end up doing it. Like, okay. I don't know what happened. They either didn't get the show or something. Whatever happened, it didn't work out. But it was like,
damn, that would have been
yeah,
so cool.
They're not doing the Hellfest, but Mike's like, I got this other tour if you want to do it. I'm like, fuck yeah, I've never been on tour before. Let's do it. And so that was my first tour.
Wow. Mike, that would be a great podcast guest.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
we gotta try to get him.
I told him last time I saw him, I was like hanging out with him, and he's like just such a character. I was like, dude, start a fucking podcast.
Dude. I mean, he's also
like such a crazy, like just awesome dude to hang out with.
He's also like, I haven't met Mike, but he's a hardcore legend. Like,
he is legendary.
I've known of Hoods way before I knew about Animosity because Hoods would like...
Me too.
Hoods would play shows in Des Moines so much that it's one of those bands that I was like, is this like a local band? I can't tell because it just seems like they've constantly been touring since back then.
Yeah, and like DIY type tours.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I did tours with... That was my first experience with doing... tours. I did like we did like a tour out to Texas and back. And obviously I was a kid. I was like, dude, this is the sickest thing ever. And then Mike had another tour, and Brewster was on it. Brewster's band.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The guy who I was hanging out with in Sacramento, who I got way too drunk with. So yeah, like, I'm like, oh, well, fuck yeah, I'm going to go again. Are you kidding me? Like, you know, my band's in high school. I'm trying to go on tour. Fuck these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. These fucking young dweebs.
Yeah. And so I did that. And then I lived in Santa Cruz. So it was an hour and a half drive up to San Francisco. So on Friday, I would go up to San Francisco and I would hang out with Animosity. And then on Saturday, we would, so on Friday, we would like, you know, they were in high school. So I would like go to parties with them and just get into mischief, whatever, high school stuff.
But you guys were straight edge.
Leo was straight edge.
Oh, you were not straight edge at this time.
Wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I was like drinking
full
and smoking
party.
weed and stuff. Yeah.
Just like.
And yeah, because when I did that Hoods tour, it was like I would drink like beer and shit like that.
California.
But I was still young. I was like I was 17 or 18. You know,
Yeah.
I was not that old.
Oh yeah, right.
So I would hang out with them. Then we'd jam on Saturday. We'd go set up somewhere and jam, either in Frank's mom's basement or at the studio that Leo's mom had.
The Full Circle Studio. What will happen next at that studio?
Who knows?
We're gonna be hearing about it.
Yeah. And then on Saturday I'd go spend the night with my dad in Berkeley. And then on Sunday I would drive up to Sacramento and jam with Hoods.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was busy.
Dedicated.
Yeah. And then sometimes I would drive either back to my dad's or I would drive all the way from Sacramento back to Santa Cruz, which is like 3 hours.
So back then when you were playing in these bands, were your parents like, all right?
I don't know. I think back on it and I'm like, dude, what were they thinking? But I'm glad they let me do it because it was, I mean, it's like legendary, shaped my life.
That's how I feel about my parents too. It's like, I feel like they were a little hesitant at first when I started getting into playing in bands because they didn't know if I was secretly like going and doing a bunch of drugs or like what was going on.
Yeah.
You know, it was just me hanging out with a bunch of guys when I was like a little younger than what you're talking about, like 13. I would just go over to a house full of a bunch of dudes and it's like I was just trying to make music and stuff. So I don't know what they exactly thought about it back then, but I'm glad that they let me do it no matter what they thought, because without that, I mean, where would we be?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think over time, I think they trusted me.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point.
Yeah, I feel the same.
They were like, all right, if he wants to do it, he can do it.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, I think they knew that if I had displayed that I was trustworthy, you know, I wasn't like a bad kid.
Yeah.
I wasn't like getting into mischief.
I know your mom says that.
Well, I wasn't getting into mischief and getting caught.
Your mom says that all the time. She was like, the rebellion for Naveen and Sean, your brother, is like not being addicted to drugs or doing anything weird, because your mom was not addicted to drugs, but she joined the Hare Krishna movement. She did like stuff that you would deem as being like crazy.
They grew
wild.
up in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, they grew up in the 60s. They did acid, you know,
stuff.
it's so.
We were pretty straight laced compared to them.
Yeah.
But so that was my time in Hoods. And then I actually recorded an album with them.
Which album?
Pray for Death.
Okay. I'm not too familiar.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Fuck, I want to listen to it.
And then I did another thing. I did another recording with them that wound up being like a split. With another band. With Freya. It's the singer of Earth Crisis, actually.
Freya. I feel like maybe I've heard about that because of that. Really? Carl?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah. And then then Animosity got out of high school. And
they graduated.
Yeah, they graduated and they're like, it's on, let's fucking go on tour, you know. And we actually did one of our first tours with Hoods. I did like double duty. But then we started getting like other tours and I was just kind of like, hey, I can't be in two bands anymore.
So what made you choose Animosity over Hoods?
Well, Animosity was always my band.
Yeah.
You know, I always said like once they can tour, I'm going to just do that.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't like a shock or anything.
I think it would be really sick to see you play with a hardcore band.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I'm down.
Yeah, it would be so fucking sick.
Yeah,
Or
I
just
thought about
doing a hardcore project or
Be fun.
something. You'd be.
The
I mean,
energy.
you fit that. Yeah, you do fit that style of music.
that. Got the vibe.
But yeah, so
So that was my time. That was my time there. I don't know
and then
how
you
long
saw
that went.
Hoods last year. Like Hoods came through.
Murfreesboro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at a venue.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the name of the venue?
Yeah, it's called the Gallery.
Sounds
Something
sick.
like that. It might be called something else, but it's something with the gallery in it. And it was kind of like Dark Matter, but in Murfreesboro.
Okay, yeah, Dark Matter. is like
Graveyard Gallery. That's what it's called.
there we go.
And yeah, the show was cool. It was a good show, and I hadn't seen Mike in a really, really long time, and it was like cool to see those guys
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
and hang out. And they're playing here actually in Nashville
When?
on the night of your party.
What?
Yeah,
Well, dude, should we try to get Mike on the podcast that day?
he'd probably do it. I'm sure he would.
Fuck, dude, it's the night, the 27th?
Yeah, the 27th.
Oh my God, should we cancel the party?
No, we already moved
I
it
had
once.
no idea.
Oh, I thought you knew that.
No, I had no idea.
Well, we were talking about it at the bar
Fuck.
Yeah.
Where are they playing?
at Cobra.
Oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
about to cancel the party.
I
Or just move it back to Saturday.
know, because that's why when it was on Saturday, I was like, okay, that works. We can go to Hoods. And then you were like, I'm going to move it to Friday. And I'm like,
Well, because Saturday is All That Remains in Mudvayne. Fuck, Nashville. I'm so sick of
Yeah, there's
Nashville
too much
having
stuff
so many
going on.
good
All right,
shows.
We'll figure that out.
Okay,
when we're off the
we should
podcast.
totally try to get we should totally try to get Mike on the podcast though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know that was happening soon.
Well, we could at least do that during the day or something.
Totally, that would be amazing. But yeah, that's the story.
That's the
of
story
you being
right
in
there.
Hoods, I guess.
Yeah, it was a good ass time.
The rest of that question was Cheney. Recreational Mary Johnson just became legal in Ohio. That's great. I will remember that the next time I'm driving through.
Not here. It's not legal here.
Out in Nashville, we keep praying for it. but
Delta 9 though. That's all Cheney smokes, by the way.
It's all I smoke.
That legal stuff.
State of Tennessee. By the way, I'm only on episode 99 of the podcast, but I'm rapidly catching up. Keep rocking. I find that
You don't have to
interesting.
start from the beginning.
Yeah, you don't have
Just
to start. This isn't
from this week.
This
It's not-
isn't
yeah.
a chronological podcast. It's not as there isn't a fantastic story that you need to start at episode 1. In fact, when I go back and listen to episode 1, which I went back and listened to earlier this year, late last year, and I was just like, wow, we were a little more reserved.
Really?
Yeah, we just weren't comfortable being. Which, dude, it's very uncomfortable getting in front of a microphone
Yeah.
and talking to people. And just talking, period, just hearing your voice for an hour straight. Like, what kind of dumb shit am I going to say?
That's true.
I feel like we were a little more reserved. We didn't, but it was still like good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we had a good thing that we started with back there in the barn.
So you say that, but then how many episodes or how many times on an episode do you say like, oh, in another podcast we talked about this or whatnot? So then you have that full story. So you
That's
don't
true.
get
That's
bitten
true.
on anything.
That's true. Well,
But like when you find out about a new podcast, do you go like, all right, I'm starting from episode 1? I don't do that. I'm just like, I'll listen to the new ones. And then if I start to really like it, then maybe I'll go check out the earlier ones.
that's exactly what I do.
But then they're usually kind of like, they didn't dial it in yet. And
Yep.
I'm just like, whatever, fuck this.
On a lot of podcasts, though, the earlier episodes, maybe not the first, second, they're a little uncomfortable, but they're a little more unhinged back in the day.
They're a little more less structured, I guess.
I never want our podcast to become that. I don't want to become like less unhinged.
That's why we're just keeping it not structured,
I just wanna-
unhinged
Yeah.
all the time, baby.
Yeah.
I do kind of like having the loose segment idea, though.
Yeah.
Having like some venue flashbacks,
Yeah.
bands. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about some bands.
Yeah. Talk about the band that you were going to talk about.
Well, hold on. Can we do that? What do we want to do the caller or no? Was there a call?
There's not a call. There are more text messages, which I'm going to read.
Okay, let's do it.
Hold on. Jesus. Okay. That's 2022. Okay. What's up, guys? This one is mainly for Cheney. In the past few years, I've dove in heavy to female-fronted bands. Ginger, Spiritbox, ENTHEOS, Face Yourself, Not Enough Space, The Tale Untold, Dying Wish, Monochromatic Black, Conquer Divide, etc. If you haven't heard of some of those, check them out. How does it feel to be a front woman in the metal scene? I've met many nice fans, but I know there can be some sexist metal listeners out there. What are some of the struggles / triumphs you've experienced, if any? Do you feel like you have to prove yourself or anything? You are easily one of the strongest voices in metal today, in my opinion. Well, thank you for the kind words. And yeah, check out all of those bands. I've heard of most of those bands. So yeah, go and check those bands out. But let me reread this question. What are some of the struggles, triumphs you've experienced, if any? You know, I don't know. I've been a part of the metal scene since I was really young. Like, I don't really remember. I wasn't a part of music without being a part of the metal scene. So since I was like 12 or 13, I've been going to shows. So for 20 years. And I started in a local scene where it was, you know, there were certain things that happened when I was younger. Like, I remember there was a band that I really wanted to try out for, and they like turned me down immediately because they were like, what they said, this is a direct quote from them, that their wives would all be really pissed off if I was the vocalist of their band. You know, there were things like that back in the day. As far as it now, like with sexism, if I do experience that, you know, there are some people, yes, they're not gonna like, they see a woman in a metal band and they immediately don't like it. That's cool. Those aren't the people who I even fucking want listening to my band. If you're that type of person who is going to judge a band strictly based off of the gender of their vocalist, then that's not someone that I care to have listening to our band. Do you? But I think that you should judge the music for what it is and not because there's like a man or a woman in the band. That really doesn't make sense to me why that would matter. But that type of stuff I really only have ever dealt with online. Like in real life, people do not treat me like that. In real life, I feel like I'm treated as an equal. And if anyone is saying stuff about me, then it's like not to my face. So I don't feel like I've had to like deal with super sexist people unless they're online. And I think that I've said this before just because, you know, I have a lot of videos that have gone pretty viral and they get the craziest comments on them ever. Every morning I wake up to crazy fucking comments on my Instagram and I'm at or Facebook or wherever. And I'm just kind of at the point now where I don't even look at those as being a part of my life. I just see a funny comment and I'm like, okay, whatever, going on with my day. It doesn't really bother me. So that's really where I've dealt with it. What are some of the struggles or triumphs that I've experienced? I don't know, dude. I feel like no matter who you are, no matter your gender, if you're sick, if you work really hard, if you're really driven to be good at what you do, and I'm really driven, like I care about vocals a lot. I care about music a lot. I care about making music. If you're really driven, then you will find other people and you will develop company of people who respect you for doing that. So I don't feel like this is about me being a woman or a man or whatever I am. I feel like it's more about me being a person in music who really cares about what I'm doing. And I do feel like I'm, at least in real life, more judged on that. People will say shitty things on the internet. I just don't pay attention to that shit. I care about paying attention to positives. I try really hard to not get caught up in that stuff. What does really bother me is when people do this like hierarchy of who's the best female vocalist in the world. But the thing is that they do that with vocalists, period. To me, there is not a best female vocalist. There's not a best vocalist. There's not a best male vocalist or anything like that. There are just people who are good at their craft, who have been practicing their craft for a really long time, and they do it in a different way. None of the women that you named in any of these bands, like none of us are in a band that sounds the same. None of us have voices that sound the same. I really look at it more that way. So it does bother me when I'm like tagged in something that's like, this person is so much fucking better than this other person. Like, I don't find that to be a productive conversation in music, because no one is better than anyone. Once you get to a certain level, like, people do have skills, but it's like Naveen could be compared to every like amazing drummer in the world, but you guys all have different voices. It's all a different thing. Everyone has something different to offer. So I really do not like seeing those conversations. Of course, they exist. It is what it is. I'm not going to go in and like stop them from happening. I can't control people. But that is something that does bother me, because I don't think there is a best female or any of that shit. So yeah, I mean, dude, I'm just out here doing my thing. I love playing music. I love being a vocalist. I'm just trying to improve and be better than the person that I was yesterday. So that's really my answer for that. I don't know. Was that an?
I'd say one of your triumphs is that you have, in my opinion, transcended being a girl vocalist. A lot of people just are like, she's a sick ass vocalist.
Yeah, which is what. That's what we all want, dude.
Yeah.
None of us got into this to be like the girl vocalist.
Yeah.
In fact, like,
some of them probably did.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there is always that thing too. You know, people will come up and be like, "You're the best female vocalist," and it's like, I would never fault anyone for saying that. I totally get what you're saying, and that means a lot to me. But there is a part of it where I'm like, oh, fuck. Damn, so I just want to be a vocalist.
Yeah.
Like, we all just want to be vocalists. We all just want to be able to express ourselves. And there really isn't a competition in music. And I hate that there is that discussion.
Yeah.
Because, dude, we're all just out here trying to express ourselves in the best way that we can. And that's what it's all about. Having like all of these different flavors of voices and music and all of that shit.
I guess it's right now, it's kind of, there's just more bands with female vocalists than ever before.
Which rules.
Whereas before, like when I was growing up, there's only a couple. It's really few and far between.
They were very, very few and far
Or
between.
we go on tour, we see local bands with female vocalists. Like that never happened when I was in Animosity.
Yeah.
I don't think that ever happened.
And that is incredible. I mean, I think that the more that women get out there and play music and become a part of the touring circuit and all of that stuff, the more that younger girls are going to get into metal.
Yeah.
There is something to be said for like more women getting out here and girls seeing that it's possible for women to do that. Because when I was a kid, there were very few girls. It was like OTEP, Angela Gossow, Laura Nickel, Karen Crisis. I'm forgetting the girl from Landmine Marathon, Bloodline Calligraphy, Walls of Jericho, of course, Candace. I'm sure I'm forgetting a million, but it's like I can name most of them.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to see more women coming out. There are women who I haven't heard of, which is fucking amazing. That's a good thing. But yeah. I don't know, dude. Just out here doing my thing.
Sick.
Just out here doing my thing.
Yeah, I remember when I'm not like comparing this, but I remember when I was younger thinking that I wanted to be like, I knew that I thought I was like pretty good at drums, like for a kid, because I've been playing drums since I was really young. But I remember just thinking like, man, I just want to be good, like not for a kid.
Yeah.
Just be like good at drums.
Yeah.
Even though I was like 10 or whatever.
Yeah, dude, it's the exact same thing.
I remember like exactly, I actually specifically remember thinking that one day.
Yeah.
Like where I was when I was thinking it.
Where were you?
At school. Yeah. Just not thinking about school, thinking about drums. As it should be.
That's right, dude.
But
here, let me see if there's. Oh, there is a voicemail.
Oh shit! Play that fucker.
Should I just play it over?
No, you gotta. Oh, want me to play it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not connected. Harrison has to play it. Are you in the Google Voice? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it the one from Brent?
Yep.
So this is Brent Clifton, the Reliant Drew at Photo. I just want to say that your OKC date was amazing and can't wait to see y'all again. Y'all are killing it. Love the new single and keep killing it and stay golden.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Thanks, Brent.
Thanks, Brent.
That was a sick show, that Oklahoma City show.
Isn't that cool having someone call in? That is cool.
Yeah, dude.
In my opinion. Call, leave a message.
That's
Why not?
cool.
Come on. Get on here.
Yeah, get on here, get your voice on here. That was a great show. That Oklahoma City show was the first show of tour, our first show with Stancil and
Okay.
Andrew.
Oh, that was an off day show.
Yep. It was the first one. But hell yeah, that was
Where was that at?
Oklahoma City.
I know the venue.
86th Street.
86th Street.
Yeah, dude. Remember the one you load in through the side? They have that fucking awesome guy who works security out there. You don't remember this venue at all, do you? How?
Here, let me look it up. What's it called?
86th Street. You pull in, you go to the back, you park in the very back, and we back up to it. And then you load in. Naveen's getting dementia, dude.
I can't even find it online.
86th Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Hold on.
86th Street.
It might be the wrong name.
Yeah, that's not what it's called.
Is it 89th Street? Yeah, it's 89th Street. Sorry.
Okay.
Dude.
This isn't good TV.
You don't remember there are 2 layers to it? Okay, here, I'll show you. So you go in through the back.
So wait, we played there,
Park
we
back there.
headlined it?
Yeah, it was our first show.
Huh.
Wow, Naveen. You don't remember the stage. We've actually headlined there twice. I do think you're getting dementia because
I
you
got
can.
nothing for that. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
You don't know.
Okay, yeah. No, I know this place. Yeah, totally. Actually, okay, so before this was a different venue. I think it was called something different.
Yeah.
And I actually played there with Animosity.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And Between the Buried and Me.
Damn, I wonder if anyone in the Twitch chat knows what it
Yeah, that was
used to be
on
called.
the original Colors tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Uh-huh.
Now they've done what? 3 Colors tours?
I don't know. Quite a lot. Let's see. All I can figure it out. Colors
Betwixt the
Actually,
Buried.
I can just look this up.
Betwixt the Buried and Thou.
Animosity.
Thine. Betwixt the Buried.
Is that like not even online? Yeah, it's just not even on here. Anyway, this is crappy.
Really? Damn. There's a whole section
Crappy
of
TV.
history that will be lost because
it's
it
like-
wasn't on the internet.
Here, let me try this. Horse, the band was on it.
All right, yeah. Betwixt the Buried and Thou, Thine.
And this has to be online, right? Come on. Anyway, that would have said where it was.
All right,
Uh,
anyway.
yeah.
So we don't know.
Totally screwed.
Whatever the fuck it's
screwed
called.
us. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I might have found it. It's on Metal Injection.
Damn.
Green Street. No. What was it? Oklahoma City?
89th Street, yeah, Oklahoma City.
Oh my God, this is so annoying. These are the initial dates. It doesn't have
What the
it.
hell does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Just announce it when the full fucking
Yeah.
tour's booked, dude.
These are like random dates
God.
for like a week.
Betwixt the Buried and Thine.
You know what? The internet was a different
Thou.
place back then.
Yeah, Wild
It
Wild
wasn't
West.
like these big announcements and stuff. It was like, oh, just put like, I don't even know. Where would you post it on MySpace?
It's buried, if you will. All right, well, that was a great podcast. So
I think we'll just leave it there.
We'll just leave it there,
We'll
man.
do the new bands next week.
Yep. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. Once again, call into the fucking podcast. The number is 615-863-4552. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
See you next week. Peace.
See you next week.